The inquiry against Alok Verma, the CBI chief removed in the midnight coup by the government, must be completed in 2 weeks. These were the orders of the Supreme Court today as they heard Mr. Verma's petition. Significantly, a retired judge of the Supreme Court will oversee the inquiry against the CBI, while the interim CBI director has been given clear orders. He cannot make any policy decisions. The case will now be heard on 12th of November.
Forced out by the government, the CBI chief Alok Verma was in Supreme Court for justice. Now the court has imposed conditions on actions taken by the government, particularly on the investigation against Verma into corruption charges alleged by his rival and deputy Rakesh Asthana.
The court has imposed a 2-week deadline on the Central Vigilance Commission's probe. Not only that, it has appointed a retired Supreme Court judge, Justice A.K. Patnaik, to oversee the CVC probe. The CVC usually keeps a check on corruption in the government. The court has also clipped the powers of the interim chief, Mr. Nageshwar Rao, appointed by the government.
The 3-judge bench headed by the Chief Justice, citing what it called the peculiar facts of this case, said the supervision of the CVC is a one-time exception and should not be understood as casting any reflection on the authority of the Government of India. The government has welcomed this order, even though the opposition calls it a setback.
Particularly the top 2 officers, like Caesar's wife, must be beyond suspicion. They must be above suspicion. And that is why it is in larger national interest that the truth is established following the highest standards of fairness and the due process of law.
But the government's choice of interim chief, Nageshwar Rao, faces tougher conditions. All his transfer orders, including replacing the investigation officer in Asthana's corruption case, will now be looked into by the court. He cannot take any policy or major decisions and will perform only those routine tasks essential to keep the CBI functional. That the stakes are high can be judged by how the top guns of the court lined up for battle. Fali Nariman for Alok Verma against Advocate General K.K. Venugopal for the government, Solicitor General Tushar Mehta for the CVC, also Mukul Rohtgi for Rakesh Asthana, as well as Dushyant Dave appearing for Arun Shourie, Yashwant Sinha and Prashant Bhushan against the government and Asthana.
I don't know about government helping somebody or not. The government's order is based completely on the order of the CVC. Nobody has raised a finger on the CVC. I think the press people are making too much about this case. I mean, at the end of the day, it's not an earth-shattering case.
Both the CBI director and deputy director's pleas against their removal were not taken up today. However, what the court's decision has ensured is that the investigation on the government side is speeded up. With camera person Sushil Rathi and Arunachalam Vaidyanathan in New Delhi, this is Sukirti Dwivedi for NDTV.